I'm Annika Warrick, and I'm interviewing my dad, Michael Warrick, for the Arkansas Arts Council 2020 Living Treasure. I'm going to be asking him a few questions so that you guys kind of have some more information about his artwork. Sound good?
Great.
Okay, so my first question is, what similarities do you see between your early work and the work that you do now?
That's a good question. I think the definite connection is doing things very well, crafting, not just the material, but the idea. And I think in terms of style, in terms of ideas and media, that's evolved and changed and continues to evolve and change over, 30, 40 years. But the consistent element to all that is doing things well. I think that crafting an idea and crafting it well, giving it a finish that has a sense to it that people appreciate, it makes a big difference.
Yeah. So this is kind of a similar question, but I would guess it's a little bit of a different answer. Are there some continuous themes that kind of present themselves throughout your body of work, or consistent ideas that you feel like you work with a lot?
I'd say in the last decade, the two consistent themes that have been very prevalent. One is this kind of a spirituality and meditation and kind of a calmness. And they grow, and all those things grow out of specific experiences that I could tell stories about for hours the same way. But another element is utilizing images of nature. So for the last 20 years, I think I've used, not 25 years, I've used elements of nature within a lot of what I've done. So the series that I worked on for over a decade up till 2010 were vessel-oriented and plant-oriented, and had a lot of intense texture and color on them. And that evolved into working with more of the figure. And when I started working with the figure, I wanted to have elements, not just in academic sculpture of a figure, but I want to have something of nature within the context of that figure to kind of take it to another level of connectedness to nature, period. So a lot of the figures have elements of plants within them or branches within them, and then some of the faces are all within a sense of meditation. So there's kind of intertwining element of nature, figure, and meditation and calmness.
Yeah. I know I've also noticed a lot of texture in your work, and one question that kind of, like, I've always wanted to ask is, do you have a preferred medium? Is there a particular, do you prefer to work in wood or steel or metal more? Is there something that's more appealing about one particular way of creating art to you? Because you really have this wide body of work in all kinds of different mediums.
The best analogy I can give to medium is your friends and your family. And each of them have specific qualities that you really admire and like and enjoy working with. But they also have qualities that sometimes you're not as fond of that don't work with you as well. And so I'd say my medium of choice is metal. I prefer metal, like cast bronze and then stainless steel to work with, because the bronzes I can evolve that over time. There's all kinds of different steps to the process, and each process in that evolution of an idea, I can change it a little bit here or there. It's not I'm stuck with it. I can evolve it a little bit more. Like when I'm building something large in stainless, I can change it a little bit subtle way in the finish, or I can change it the way that I angle something, and so I can make that unique and interesting, I hope, in every way. When I go to work in stone or wood or clay, I mean, they all have great qualities that I like, but I tend to lean more towards working in metal.
Mm-hmm. So all of this medium talk kind of, do you have anything in particular that really inspires your work, or when you're putting yourself into that space to create a new project, what are some things that you do to kind of inspire you or create that new idea?
I go back to my sketchbook. It's like a journal, sketchbook, a diary, all in one. It's where I deposit ideas, and some of the ideas are so wild and so out there and so And some of them are dark. Not all of them are about, peace and meditation and calmness in nature. Sometimes they approach things that have to do with death and difficulties in life. And I always go back to my sketchbook. So, an idea that I've had off and on for 30 years now, and I'm still thinking about doing it. It's just a monumental undertaking. Probably takes 6 months to complete, and would involve a lot of different materials and be so different than what I've done, but it'd be closer to something that I've done almost 30 years ago. So it's good to go back and revisit my sketchbook, because there's sometimes I get a new approach, a new evolution of the idea that or something about what I was doing 20, 30 years ago that evolves into something better.
Yeah, it's definitely funny. I mean, as your daughter, kind of seeing this continuity in a lot of your work. I mean, I see some things that are very similar and some things that have changed really as you've evolved as a person, both as like my dad and as an artist. I mean, you use completely different mediums when I was a young kid than you do now, which is a really fascinating process to witness. This is a little bit of a subject change, but one thing that I feel is really important for an artist to identify is, I mean, do you feel you make your artwork for anyone in particular, or do you feel you have an audience, or is it more just for yourself?
I think all the above. When I'm thinking about something, a lot of times it grows out of some emotional situation that's difficult to deal with, or something I feel that I wonder, but then I go, I know other people feel this, but are other people commenting on it? Are other people presenting that in what they do? I mean, whether it's something whimsical or something, whether it's historical or something that's dreadful, whatever that might be. I think part of what artists do is take those different experiences, those different ideas that they have, and they translate them into this visceral, visual form that hopefully your audience can connect to. And sometimes that connection could be with a 5-year-old, or it could be with somebody that's in their senior years. But it's the important issue of developing something both on the micro level to the macro level is real important. And that's how I think you just be as an artist is doing that.
So I have one last question, and it's one that I often kind of try to find the answer for myself. What was the first moment you truly felt like an artist? Was there like one day or one moment where you felt, oh, this is what I am, that I've kind of accomplished this thing that maybe I've been working for, or you think it's something that has existed for you? Do you think you've always been an artist?
Oh gosh, there's so many different steps to that. I felt that, from the first time when I did a drawing, like I was 6 or 7 years old, for my godmother, and then she recognized, she said, this is such a wonderful definition of my, it's a drawing of her car. And she said, and so I realized I never thought of myself as an artist. She was the first person to say that's what I was. And I always was just doing, this is what I did as a kid. And then you should continue doing this. But there was no art classes when I was in grade school. So I took my earned money and I bought books on how to draw, and eventually books on how to do other things too. So I kind of continued, but I think the important thing was that all the different turning points in my life usually had to do with something either that I did or something that somebody said. Like when back in 2009 when we installed the Seed of Hope project for UAMS. That particular project, even though it's made in stone, it was very difficult. It was a trial by fire. I took 5 weeks to create it in 95-degree heat in the heat of summer, but we had to get it done on time. And my helper was also, he didn't tell me during the time that he was helping me, but that every week during the time he would help me in the early afternoon, he'd go get checked for cancer. He didn't tell me this. But after we finished, he told me about, why I leave every day. I said, no. He said, you told me I want to. You have to sign the piece then because you blessed the piece. And so sometimes in the process of creating a work, you realize that it's more meaningful than you expected. And then when people, reacted to the finished product as a healing symbol for them, they would put a token in that project to state, yes, I've been healed of cancer. I've recovered. That's meaningful. So you're never sure when that's going to happen. It just does sometimes, and then you're just blessed to have that happen. So those little reassurances along your journey are the things that kind of keep you going more than anything else. Not your own opinion about what you do, but other people's opinion about what you do. Those are the ones that make a difference in how you see what you've done can make a difference.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think we will end on that note, and thank you so much.
Thanks.